14 people have died of heat stroke in the state of Texas in their prison system since just 2007. And this story came about because Ramona Hinojosa, I think I'm pronouncing that right.
That's a tough name.
Yeah.
Reading through that article, I was like, ooh, I'm going to butcher that.
Ramona Hinojosa is suing the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for the wrongful death of her son and violations of civil rights and the Americans with Disabilities Act. Ramona's son, Albert Hinojosa, died of heat stroke in Texas's Garza West unit in Beeville, where the windows are sealed shut and the prison is said to be like an oven, according to the complaint in the lawsuit. On August 29th, around midnight of 2012, the lawsuit complaint states that Albert fell from his bed in convulsions in his jail cell. His skin was hot to the touch and he was unresponsive. The officer who was on staff at the time called his supervisor, and the supervisor called 911 because the prison does not have a 24-hour medical staff at the prison. So Hinojosa was rushed to the hospital and arrived there about the ambulance arrived there about 1:30 to take him to the hospital. They rushed him to the hospital, but he was declared dead by 1:50, and he was only 44 years old. And the autopsy revealed that he died of hyperthermia, which is when the body produces more heat than it can release. And 10 inmates have died this way in 2011 alone during that record-breaking heat wave in Texas. So allegedly the prisons reach temperatures exceeding 120 degrees during the day, and Hinojosa says that they rarely fall below 100 degrees even at night. In spite of an official policy which technically does require prisons to be kept between 65 and 85 degrees at all times, high-ranking officials at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice have considered supplying working air conditioners to prisons a waste of money. So they have not done anything about this heat stroke epidemic that's that's happening through the Texas prison systems. And this is particularly disturbing, Hinojosa says, because TDCJ, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, actually purchases and maintains climate-controlled swine barns to house pigs raised for slaughter, but they will not supply air conditioning to their prisoners.
It just goes to show. I mean, the prison industrial complex is it's heavily privatized. The priorities are basically it's a hotel that lives and dies in occupancy. They don't give a rat's ass about the occupants. They don't care about human rights. It's a money making machine.
Yeah, but you would think though, as a money making machine, that they would actually just want to keep the prisoners alive, because every prisoner that dies is a an empty seat.
It also has to do with political outrage, and you have to understand what the man is a Hispanic. I mean,
we don't know if this is a.
I'm sorry, but that right there, that was a really, really good point, Daniel. He's Hispanic.
But
they don't care about that. Texas doesn't care about that. The prison system doesn't care about that, because we disproportionately put African Americans and Hispanics, Latinos, in our prison system. They disproportionately make up the populations of our prison system.
But which states in particular are anti-immigration? Texas.
Yeah, you're looking at Texas and in these other states where they have those for-profit prisons.
Yeah, but is this a for-profit prison? I didn't catch that in the story.
I don't think that this article mentioned that in particular, but it's probably a pretty safe bet I think most of the prisons in Texas at this point have been privatized because it's Texas legislators' goal to have all prisons within Texas privatized. So I can't confirm it for sure, but probably.
Educated guess.
I'm not gonna assume that, but it really doesn't matter. The point is they're people. Like, I get it. They committed some crime. Hopefully they committed some crime, actual crime, to get in there. But they're people. Like, you gotta air condition them. And I get it. They seal the windows because they're afraid of somebody escaping. Like, I understand that. But if you seal the windows and you build it so that nobody can get out, then there's a big chance that since you're in Texas, that a lot of heat's gonna get trapped in. So you got to air condition the prison. It's pretty.
And you don't think they didn't think about that, though? You don't think they didn't think about that?
I actually don't think they did. The way that I see
it, though, I'm sorry. The way that I see it right here is that I think that they're doing this kind of thing on purpose as a punishment. Now, I mean, because if you look at who's making up the prison beds, most likely it's drug offenders, right, and immigrants, and blacks and Latinos are being put into those prisons. And those are the people that they don't like.
Right, they don't care about them, and they don't care about their well-being. And so what if it's an empty bed? It's not going to stay empty for long now, is it?
Especially with the drug war still going in full swing.
I think we're getting like off the topic. I mean, but it really doesn't make any sense, because if the prison's heated, if it's so hot that you have 11 people die in a year or 10 people die in a year of heat stroke, then you have guards walking through there with much more equipment on them than the prisoner. I mean, the prison uniform is like thin for a purpose to prevent them from concealing anything. You have guards in like armor and they have batons and all that. Like, how are your guards supposed to function in the prison?
Your guards are only there for 40 hours a week.
Yeah, it's interesting. The article
all the time, and they're in those cells.
Yeah, the article actually mentions that one of the lawyers on Hinojosa's side arguing was actually mentioned that she was surprised that more guards have not come forward and talked about these horrible working conditions. But then again, they only have to endure this 40 hours a week, whereas the inmates, they have to endure it all the time. And also the offices and break rooms where the wardens and such spend most of their time, they are air conditioned and kept at around 70 to 75 degrees.
So, and the thing that's most disturbing, actually, too, is going back to the point. I'm really surprised nobody's touched on this this part of the article, because I found it incredibly disturbing that the fact that the same company, right, that does the prisons, has a pig farm in which they air condition.
Right. Like that. But that's amazing. That's the thing. We've actually heard that before. If you've seen the American Drug War, there's a scene in there where they talk to Joe Arpaio, everybody's favorite sheriff from Arizona, and in his prison he makes the inmates camp in the yard, and he only gives out postcards which are pictures of the dogs in the air-conditioned prison. So, like, you see the same thing, like, so this is also a mixture of we want to be tough guys and treat the prisoners like prisoners because they're, bad people, and like,
it's that malicious sort of behavior, like, yeah, let's punish them even more, yeah.
But the thing is, it's not, but you're not benefiting from, like the thing that bothers me about it is, like, yeah, you'd save more money if you air condition the prison, right? But 11 people dying in your prison from heat stroke, which is a preventable condition, like, if you think about it, when a trial lawyer figures that out, and I know Texas has tort caps, and they start suing, it should cost you more money in the long run than in the short run, than you'll save, and like, they don't even think about that.
Right, they're not being rational, and I also think that they're mostly banking on the fact that most of the time these individuals, meaning these prisoners and even their families, don't have enough money to file a lawsuit or hire a lawyer to work the case. So most of the time these families are helpless to do anything.
I actually totally disagree, because I mean, I hate to be like vulgar or like so blunt, but poor people sue all the time because you have a lot of antsy trial lawyers that they advertise on TV. You know, you don't make money unless we make money. Like, there are trial lawyers looking for cases to win. Like, we've seen, I'm sure you guys have seen cases that are total bullshit that have gone to trial because some trial lawyers try to push it forward. And this case is not bullshit. It's actually justified.
Well, it depends on the area you're in, though, because, I mean, if you were to look for something like that around here, it doesn't exist. I used to see that sort of thing in where I lived in Florida all the time, you know, advertisements on TV. We don't get anything unless you get something, right? Yeah. Okay, well, that's not the case around here. Around here, there's nothing like that around here, and there's no services to help you hire a lawyer if you can't afford a lawyer if you're going to sue someone. In order to be appointed a lawyer or defense attorney, you have to be charged with a crime or something like that. Right. You can't just decide to sue somebody and get someone to help you.
Here's the question, though. Here's a quick question. Do you think that it would cost more, like, from the prison's point of view, would it cost more for AC or to deal with lawyer fees if somebody dies?
Honestly, it should be obvious that AC would be cheaper in the long run. It should be obvious. That would be the rational choice.
But going back to your point, you know, if poor people can't sue, you know what I mean? If poor people can't sue,
but there are
lawsuits against the prison, then maybe it is cheaper. In their opinion, to let them die.
It might be cheaper. It's kind of a gamble.
If you get away with it, but you're gonna end up with a class action suit. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Is they're gonna take the people who died. This is what trial lawyers do all the time. Is they take real victims, the people who died, they mix them with real people that suffered, the people in the heat, and then they mix them with people who were in jail for like 1 day and like some guard that like quit after a week, and they mix all those people together and they try and get as much money as possible, and it's just stupid that a company or state government would open themselves up for that kind of case, especially since that kind of case would go to a federal court and not be subject to Texas tort reform.
But the statement does coincide with what we're currently discussing. You have to understand that a lot of the illegal immigrant and Mexican mentality, a lot of these people and their families, a lot of people like to claim they're moochers, but to be honest, a lot of these people won't touch government programs with a 10-foot pole, and a lot of these people like to keep to themselves. And a lot of these people, they don't want to get involved with big corporations or government. A lot of them, you know, usually don't say anything, even in times of definite mistreatment.
They don't call police when they get robbed.
Yeah, and you have to understand how these people live. You also have to understand it's greed, and it's hatred, and it's short-term greed, hatred, and social Darwinism is exactly what it is. Even if you don't like the idea of a class action lawsuit, you got to agree, at least somewhere in mankind, people are collectively working together for a common goal.
But the purpose of a class action lawsuit is for this. So, like, even if I'm against what, like, some people churn class action lawsuits into, like, the principle and the concept of it is just a group of people coming together to file legal action together. And I would be totally in favor of it if in this case.
Yeah,
well, let's be honest, this will not happen in the Northeast or any place else. It's because the people, and particularly in Texas, that govern and run the fucking place, deem these people as less than human. Pretty much.
Right. That's right. Yep, I agree. Good point.
Yeah. I mean, and
it's like a Nazi concentration camp. Do you think they really gave a fuck if the Jews had air conditioning? That's exactly what it is.
It's even worse than I even want to say that it's worse than dehumanization, because no one should treat animals this way. No one should treat any living creature this way.
The animals got the fucking air conditioning.
Well, yeah, that's true. Part. That's true. It's insane. It's definitely, it's so degrading and just it goes beyond that.
Mrs. Hinojosa, I think she needs. She deserves justice, and all the families of those deserve some sort of justice from this. And Texas, man, you got to stop. Put some goddamn air conditioning in there, please.
Yeah, stop being cheap, sadistic assholes and start treating prisoners like human beings because they're
at
supposed
least
to be
like
treated.
human beings with
For
some
the end of the fucking war
respect.
on drugs.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/TYTNation. And if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/TYTNation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.